I have a great guest, and he has some ideas about maybe how we can deal effectively with the difficulties that we are having in Alberta. And so, without further ado, I want to bring on Zayne Novak. And my senior producer, Gary, said, you have got to have Zayne on because this guy has some ideas of what we're going to do about, I think, really about Jason Kenney, right, Zayne? So,
Yes.
would you help me out? Yeah, I'm on the road today. I'm actually in a restaurant. We had terrible internet outside, so I moved during the last interview. I don't know if you got to hear any of that, probably not, Zayne, but
No,
things are not always as they appear. You didn't get to hear it?
no, well, I didn't want
No.
to accidentally mess anything up and then not get logged on. So I just
Right.
let everything be status
You
quo.
waited.
I'm just gonna see
Yes,
if
yes. And
light
I
makes
think,
any better. Yeah,
yes,
light might make it a little
right,
bit
right. I
better here.
think Aaron
Well,
wanted to,
I don't
yeah,
it's
I think
definitely
producer
gray.
Aaron also wanted you to wait. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, well, things are not always as they seem, is what we learned in the last interview. And things have not been as they've seemed regarding Jason Kenney for a while. And I talked earlier on a broadcast that I did about the disappointments we have when people get brought in and then they do not live up to our expectations. They are shockingly, um, you know, they
Unaccountable.
they do things that we don't expect. They're not accountable, and you're sure because you voted them in, and they said that they were such and such that they would make certain decisions that would um, that you'd be happy with because they're on your side. They're conservative after all. And Doug Ford and Jason Kenney have been real anomalies in that, and so it's been hard to figure out. But you have an idea.
Right.
Tell me who you are. Tell our audience who
Well,
you are and what you have up your sleeve.
for sure. My name is Zayne Novak, and I am one of the individuals with a group called Take Back Alberta 2022. But really, the greater agenda is to take back Alberta and then to move on from there. And that is really a conservative voice. And exactly like you said, it part of the reason I'll take accountability for this is apathy. We've had so much apathy in politics and in those who vote that we've kind of elected these individuals and we expect them to go off. They do their job while we raise our families, have our careers, do whatever we do, and then all of a sudden one day we wake up and we look at the situation we're in right now. And I think one of the key reasons for that is because in Canada, less than 1% of the population carries a political card for any party, provincially or federally. And of that less than 1%, less than 15% of that 1% would actually get involved in, dropping off flyers, knocking on doors, typical volunteer things, voting in the nomination process for MLAs or MPs or party leaders, or donate. So all of a sudden, you've got like 99.85% of the population who are kind of controlled by that 0.15%. And if you can control the 1.15%, well, we're all kind of controlled. And there's that old saying: those who show up are the ones who rule the world, or the workplace, or the community hall, or whatever it is. And I think that as Canadians, we've had it good for many, many years. And we just kind of expected that we could vote for someone that we thought was decent and they would do their job. But apparently that's not. And I say that that's apathy in us, the voters. And, I have these meetings with Take Back Alberta all the time. I've got one this evening. I got one every night because we're on a real push. And these are the important dates to note: March 19th and April 9th. And our big push is to sell as many UCP memberships before midnight of March 19th, because there's a standing policy. You have to be a party member for 21 days before you can vote on policy. And the really unique thing is that on April 9th, and we're going to make history. This never happened before in the history of Canada, prior or after the Constitution. On April 9th, there is a leadership review for Jason Kenney where members can vote, not just the caucus. It's not a general election like a typical provincial election. This is just a leadership review where the members can vote. And it's in Red Deer. It's in person. It's a paper ballot. It's going to be well scrutinized. So we have the chance of an honest vote. And our goal at Take Back Alberta is to get thousands of people to show up in person in Red Deer on April 9th and to fill those ballot boxes with your opinion votes. And it's a very simple question. It's not ambiguous. It's just going to say, do you support Jason Kenney as leader of the Conservative Provincial Party? Yes or no? So it's a very clear vote, and you get to exercise your democratic right, which to me is amazing. I look at the truckers. I mean, the truckers they went on a mission, and I still have my class one. I still know what it takes to run an 18-wheeler. I used to heavy haul for many, many years. I was born in Lloydminster, grew up in northern Saskatchewan, road construction, moved into Alberta in the 80s with ready mix, with concrete, with Lafarge, and on and on. And then, kind of in Alberta, a lot of the paths lead to oil and gas, and that brought me to Calgary. And I've been in Calgary almost 20 years, and I actually ran for mayor here in the last municipal election in October of 2021. Too many dates in my head. But what's really unique about this is never before in the history of Canada has an elected premier been voted out of office mid-term. It's never happened before. There's been a couple who haven't finished their term because of health or their caucus voted them out, but never have the members voted out a leader. And I think that this is going to send a message to the Conservative side of our province, but also to Canada. It shows that if we get involved, we can take back our province. And, we can stand up for this. I always say that politics in Alberta and in Canada are a little bit like an elephant in the room, right? And there's that famous old saying, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. So showing up on April 9th is that first bite. And then when we show up in unison, a unified Conservative voice that has never really been seen before in Western Canada, and I can explain more about that, but that's going to send a message. What we have right now in Alberta is a lot of apathy on the Conservative side. We feel like Jason Kenney has lied to us. He's flip-flopped so many times. And, I think for a lot of us, the breaking point was when he started to have pastors arrested in this province. I mean, that really triggered it for lots of people. I'm not sure what I am. I'm non-denominational, come from a very strong Christian background. But I do know this. When we live in a country or a land where we are no longer able to practice our faith, we're not living in a free country.